There are many things to like about the Avatar films, from the plot to the world building and, most importantly, all the different types of creatures that live in Pandora. From deadly land predators to huge sea creatures, some of these creatures are completely mind-blowing. In this video, we'll be taking a look at all the different creatures that exist in Pandora, so stay tuned. First up, at number 17, we have the Mountain Banshee. This list starts off with the well-known creature used as an aerial ride through the entire first movie, the Mountain Banshee, also called the Ikran. Many of the warriors and Na'vi hunters have their own Mountain Banshee, which they've bonded with. We've seen the Mountain Banshees on the big screen, but in supplementary material and the simulator ride Flight of Passage, we've also been introduced to Forest Banshees, or Ikrane, which are much smaller in size. Similar to many other creatures in the world of Pandora, the Banshee's bones became much stronger and lighter than anything organic similar to it on Earth because of the biologically produced carbon fiber. And even though their appearance is like a reptile, their metabolism is similar to birds, such that it generates heat, which then gets cooled by air inlets right at the forefront of their chest cavity. Next up, at number 16, we have the Hammerhead Titanothere. The Hammerhead Titanothere, or the Angtik, is nearly 2 times the size of an elephant from Earth and is among the biggest land herbivores in the whole of Pandora. It was apparent in the first movie that the Hammerheads are very social animals, but also have a tendency to be highly violent due to their territorial nature. Not to mention, when they're confronted by an enemy or competing for a mate, they use a beautiful display crest. Now, the Hammerheads have an awful long-distance vision, but they can make up for that using their sharp hearing and a strong sense of smell. Similar to many other Pandoran land creatures, they have 6 legs, which they can use to turn quickly and charge at shockingly high speeds. Now, at number 15, we have the Dire Horse. The Dire Horses, or the Pali, are the main mounts used by the Na'vi warriors on land. Their appearance resembles horses from Earth, but they have longer necks and 6 limbs and are almost as large as an elephant. Another huge difference is that dire horses are omnivorous creatures, and their diet includes insects, although their main source of food is sap. This is because their tongues are prehensile, much like giraffes. Like most of Pandora's animals, the dire horses have 2 antennae, or neural whips, which allow them to connect with their Na'vi riders. When connected, the dire horses act as an extension of the rider's body, thus allowing them to freely use their bows and other weapons. Coming up at number 14, we have the Great Lenopteryx. The Na'vi name of the Great Lenopteryx, Toruk, means last shadow. It was given this name for good reason, seeing how it's the apex predator of Pandora's skies. Thanks to its ferocious nature and huge size, along with its wingspan of over 25 meters, this creature has become a huge part of Na'vi lore and culture, as we saw in the first movie. The Lenopteryx usually attacks from above and primarily hunts forest and mountain banshees. Unlike the other flying creatures, it has 6 limbs, similar to Pandora's land animals, and there are no known natural predators that can hunt it. Let's take a look at Thanator at number 13. If the Great Lenopteryx rules the skies, then the Thanator, or Palulukan, would be the king of the land. According to human xenobiologists, it would be the apex predator on land, as even the large carnivores from Earth fear it. In fact, even the Na'vi warriors, who are known for their hunting skills and courage, go out of their way to avoid the beast, and that's because the Thanator is capable of hitting lethal blows with its tail and can track prey from nearly 13 kilometers away. Next up at number 12, we have the Ilu. The Ilu is similar to a plesiosaur and was introduced in the first Flight of Passage ride. It plays a huge role in the second movie, The Way of Water. The Ilu may look unpleasant, but it's basically the dire horse of the water, so the reef Na'vi were able to tame them with relative ease. The Ilus have 2 neural whips sticking out from their temples and 4 eyes. Most of them are dark-colored on their upper body and have a white underbelly. Also, the Ilus are known to be sociable with themselves as well as other species. Now, at number 11, we have Skimwing. The Skimwing, or the Sorak, have the same evolutionary ancestors as the Banshee. They can comfortably fly above the water, but usually they use their powerful tails to shoot themselves upward and forward in the water. While flying, Skimwings breathe through their nostrils, which are located on top of their heads, but they've also got gills that allow them to breathe underwater. Next up, at number 10, we have the Medusa. These dangerous animals drifting over Pandora's mountaintops are almost always hungry, and they float using the bell, a sac of hydrogen gas produced by digesting prey. They might seem like easy prey for other airborne predators, given their limited mobility, but medusas don't have much flesh that can be eaten. What's more, any predator is naturally deterred by the unpleasant and harmful gas released when the bell is punctured. Not to mention, the medusa tends to move in erratic circles to confuse predators. predators. Coming up at number 9, we have Ostropede. The Ostropede is a rather fidgety creature and is mostly friendly. The bird is pretty small, especially by Pandoran standards, and has a long neck and tail and a flat beak. It's still really tall though, something that can be credited to its legs and neck. Their emotions spread like wildfire from one Ostropede to another as a result of some sort of mimicry. Despite their impulsive nature, however, they pose little threat to other creatures, and some are even affectionate. Now at number 8, we have arachnoids. The arachnoids are scorpion-like creatures that are, quite frankly, terrifying to look at. Though, despite their initial appearance, most arachnoids are shy and tend to flee to avoid fighting. That, of course, doesn't mean they can't defend themselves. A sting from one of these causes the victim a lot of pain and can even end up being fatal if not treated in time. That is, if the predator isn't already immune to its venom. Unfortunately for the arachnoids, however, that is a common occurrence. Let's take a look at the hexapede at number 7. These animals resemble deer. They're striped with white and yellow and are dark blue herbivores, and a thin, patterned membrane structure is encased in their twin horn structures. They may not be carnivorous, but they're still pretty dangerous and have the proper defense mechanisms to fend off any predators that might come their way. The hexapedes retract both lips and flare up their double membrane structure like a satellite dish in a warning show. Next up, at number 6, we have the Great Ostropede. Certain Na'vi clans have the ability to tame and use this bad boy as a mount. It's a bipedal, flightless bird-like creature that lives in the Pandoran savanna and resembles the emu, or an ostrich. The long clawed fingers at the tips are used for hunting and engaging in combat with rivals. Plus, it has dark gray skin with blue-gray striping on its body and yellow markings on its wings. Also, Great Ostropedes are larger overall and have a minor height advantage over their genetic cousin, the Ostropede. Not to mention, they initially show up in Toruk: The First Flight, a musical. Now, at number 5, we have the Slinger. The Slinger might as well be the oddest and most dangerous creature to exist in Pandora. Seriously, one thing's for sure, you do not want to come across this one. This creature can grow up to 2.4 meters high and has 6 legs. What makes it different from other creatures with similar features is that its foremost limbs act almost like arms. What's more, Slinger hunts by detaching its head and embedding it in its prey. Also, it eats the prey while the head is still separated and then bends down to connect it to its neck again. Yeah, we know, creepy. Coming up at number 4, we have the Tllutsa. This particular sea creature lives near the coastal regions of Pandora and can grow up to 40 feet long. It's somewhat similar to the larger creatures on Earth, such as the great white shark, but unlike sharks, it doesn't have the ability to filter fish and feed on them. Instead, it tends to jump out of the water and catch flying animals. How it manages to grow up to 40 feet with just that, however, is still unclear. Let's take a look at the Viper Wolf at number 3. The Viper Wolves are deadly creatures that are brutal in combat and tend to tear their prey apart. Still, these creatures are extremely affectionate towards their young and are often seen taking care of them. Their appearance is terrifying, and the hairless, shiny skin only adds to the overall unpleasantness. In order to identify the pack, they use bioluminescence. Also, interestingly, they laugh similarly to hyenas. Not to mention, they can climb trees and stalk prey from the ground thanks to their opposable thumbs, which enable them to set up a three-dimensional hunting environment. Coming up at number 2, we have the Wood Sprite. The Wood Sprite, or Adocarina in Na'vi, is a creature that resembles an airborne jellyfish and is also known as the seed of the holy tree. They're described as pure spirits by Neytiri after she scolds Jake for scaring 2 of them away. These seeds are planted on the body of a deceased Na'vi by the Omaedakaya clan so that the Na'vi's consciousness will merge with Eywa. Also, they're apparently going to play a pretty significant part in the 3rd movie. Finally, at number 1, we've got the Prolemurus. The blue hexapodal Prolemurus, known as the Shiaksul among the Na'vi people, are based on lemurs. Their 2 top limbs on either side are partially joined, and they have 2 large eyes and small nostrils that can reach a height of 1.5 meters. Like the majority of Pandoran species, they have a queue on the back of their heads, and all sides of their bodies are covered in lateral skin membranes. That's a wrap for this video. Which creature from the Avatar universe would you like to keep as a pet? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and we'll see you at the next one.